So it looks like Sonny Hostin's call for political violence isn't sitting well with ABC, aka Disney. Sonny Hostin slams Democrats who censured Al Green. They should be ashamed of themselves. Now, I'm going to play the clip of that, of her saying things that she had to say on The View. But it's not so much this, which is what they're trying to make the headline, but is what she said in the clip specifically about violence that absolutely should not have been broadcast, and especially with a company like Disney. Doing this is so tone deaf and blind, I would say, because when you think about the attempted assassination attempts, on President Trump's life that we saw during the campaign season, this is very serious. And also, what she has to say is ridiculous. Comparing this to civil rights. This is what they like to do. They like to hijack the civil rights movement. And now it means everybody who's coming across the border illegally from Mexico, well, that's part of the civil rights. And then everything that's LGBTQ and trans rights, that is civil rights. It's no longer about, black people and their civil rights and the marches that they did. No. They are comparing it as though they are being oppressed in the same way. And they absolutely are not. And this is something that Black Americans have been very incensed about and upset about, especially those who have either just gone independent or turned to the Republican Party because of this type of nonsense specifically. And it is honestly offensive to me, even as a Black woman, that they are trying to conflate these issues into being the same thing. So let's get into this, and then I will play the clip, but I want to just give you some context on what I'm talking about. I'm going to make this bigger. Again, I like to, so you guys can read what I'm reading so you can see exactly what is going on. All right, it says, the first two hot topics on Friday's March 7th new edition of The View brought out some serious fire from co-host Sonny Hostin. The subject of Representative Al Green's censure in Congress was the opener, and no one was more impassioned about it than Hostin. Moderator Joy Behar introduced the story with clips of Green interrupting Donald Trump's address to Congress to state that he doesn't have a mandate to reduce Medicaid, and House Speaker Mike Johnson then saying it wasn't proper decorum and does damage to the institution of Congress. To that, Behar asked, what about an insurrection? Does that not do damage to the institution? So I'm sure you guys have seen it, but let me just play quickly what happened with Al Green.
By its adoption of House Resolution 189, the House has resolved that Representative Al Green be censured, that Representative Al Green forthwith present himself in the well of the House of Representatives for the pronouncement of censure, and that Representative Al Green be censured with public reading of this resolution by the Speaker.
As Behar showed footage of some Democrats joining Green in a chorus of song to show support for him amid the censure vote, she also noted that 10 Democrats voted alongside Republicans on the matter, and Hostin then tossed her a page of notes, insisting Behar read out their names. Let me move that over. Now, this is the part that is the issue. And again, I'm going to play the clip afterwards, okay? They don't know how to fight and be part of an opposition party, Hostin said. Representative Green gave them the example. The Democrats are not meeting the moment. It's very clear Medicaid is on the table. It's very clear that Social Security is on the table. It's very clear that people will die. The baby boomers, the civil rights generation, they knew what they had to do. They were willing to fight and die for their rights. This generation of Congress, they are not meeting the moment. And also, I might point out, some of them are from the most liberal states like New York, Hawaii, and California. They should be ashamed of themselves. So the Democrats that actually voted to censure Al Green are from some liberal states. And this is what she's so pissed off about. But the part that is the issue is for me is conflating this with civil rights, which is an abomination. But then it's this part. They are willing to fight and die for their rights. So she's calling for, this is an outright call for political violence. Now, some people will say, well, no, it didn't mean it that way, like, or anything like that. Absolutely. I'm tired of them trying to backpedal and say that they didn't mean what they meant to say. They were just, it was just talk. It didn't mean anything. But take a listen to, now I'm going to play the clip. Let me pull it up for you so you can hear it for yourself.
But it didn't unite them all because 10 Democrats voted to censure Green.
Wow. Do you want a list of the 10?
Do you want to hear their names?
Yes, I do.
Yeah. Why go after them, too? Go after the Republicans.
Because they don't know how to fight and be part of an opposition party. Representative Green gave them the example. The Democrats are not meeting the moment. It is very clear that Medicaid is on the table. It is very clear that Social Security is on the table. It is very clear that people will die. The baby boomers, the civil rights generation, they knew what they had to do. They were willing to fight and die for their rights. This generation of Congress, they are not meeting the moment. This is an existential crisis.
And also, I might point out, some of them are from the most liberal states like New York, Hawaii, California.
They should be ashamed of themselves.
Okay,
They should have all walked out with him.
So you guys heard that. And it's just ridiculous what the Democrats are trying to do. They're making all these noise and screaming about this, that, and the other, like they try to do with reparations. This is what I pointed out in a video a while back. It had to be a couple weeks ago at this point, where they were trying to now bring back reparations for Black people, which is what they presented at the end of Trump's first presidential term. Did nothing about it during Biden's term. In fact, Biden was saying that it's a no-go. We need to study it more. It's not going to happen. But then within the first month or two of President Trump's second term, well, now they want to bring up reparations again. And it's the same thing you can say about abortion. So they make all of these, they're doing all this movement, but they make no progress because they like to keep things on the table so that they can have something to argue against with the Republicans. And so that they can campaign on something, just like Kamala Harris was campaigning on reproductive rights. You don't hear anything about reproductive rights. They make everything an existential crisis. Medicaid is going to go away. Medicare is going to go away. People are going to die. These are the same things they were saying about reproductive rights, which it wasn't about reproductive rights. It was about abortion, okay? Which is the same thing that when Barack was president, he was campaigning, he was saying that his first agenda was going to be to codify Roe v. Wade. But then when he became president, well, he did nothing about it and even said he's not going to do anything about it. There are other more important things. But they get people all up in arms, try to create this hysteria that all of these things are going to happen. People are going to die in order to keep power, or they don't have any power and they want to just gain power. And this is the same thing. But then to go as far as to call it civil rights, Medicaid is civil rights, or what Al Green did was the same thing. And then to say that they need to fight, but not just politically fight, but people are talking about people need to die. Like civil rights leaders, people who were in that movement died for that. So they need to take the same steps in order to die for Medicaid. Again, if you go back and look at the campaign season with Kamala, these are the same things that they were talking about. Over and over again, they do this to create mass hysteria without actually any progress. And it's all so that people can get talking and that hopefully their base and the masses will get stirred up about it. But it's just not working. Now, it went on to say, before reading out the names, as Hostin requested, Baer noted, where was all this talk about decorum from Republicans when Marjorie Taylor Greene was screaming at Biden? Alyssa Farah Griffin had her own complaint about the Democrats, rhetorically asking, who are they being advised by? People who use Windows 98? Anna Navarro also pointed out that interruptions of presidential speeches really got started several administrations ago. We all remember when Joe Wilson, the Republican congressman, stood up against Barack Obama, giving the State of the Union and called him a liar. We saw Marjorie Taylor Greene and Lauren Boebert. The congressional hearings lately have devolved into shouting matches and are shameful. And frankly, like you, I have a really hard time being lectured to by Republicans who are trying to whitewash and rewrite history. What does that have? Now they're bringing in race. Now it's about whitewashing. So I'm not going to get into the context of people standing up and fighting back in Congress. I actually don't have a problem with it. I actually think it makes for great entertainment and comedy, which is what this all is when anyone does it. It's a bunch of grandstanding. But the difference is here is that Democrats do it in order to, score brownie points while they do absolutely nothing for the American people, while they actually take from us. And you don't see any of them incensed about the billions, if probably finding trillions of dollars of waste, fraud, and abuse of our tax dollars that's going through USAID and several other governmental agencies. No. They're fine with that. It's absolutely crickets when it comes to that. But now they're worried about people losing their health care and all this money and things when this is not something that they were even fighting for or thought about or cared. And there have been issues plaguing Medicare and Medicaid for years that they've done nothing about. So I'm not going to go into every single thing that's here because it's just the the View spewing their nonsense, and I know you don't want to hear all that. But guys, make sure you are subscribed to this channel, and if you are looking for some of my celebrity gossip and all those different things with going on with Blake Lively and the Justin Baldoni case, that is going to be on my other channel, Melanie Offscript. The link will be below in the description box, as well as if you want to support me here, you can also go to realmelanieking.com. That is my merch shop. I'm going to be showcasing some new things I have coming out. But you can go to realmelanieking.com, or if you want to support me directly, there have been a lot of attacks on my channel and a lot of other content creators related to, it seems a lot right now coming from Blake Lively, Ryan Reynolds' team. This is what it's looking like. I actually have a story I'm about to do where a young woman was attacked by what allegedly, and the receipts show this, by Blake Lively's nanny, Blake Lively's lawyer, Blake Lively's social media person, and several other people, and she's speaking out about it, and it's really, really terrifying what they're doing to this young woman. But if you want to check that out, go to Melanie Offscript. But until then, I will see you guys on the next one.